Hello, in this recording, we're going to test together the feature from compensation templates in SuccessFactors called Enable Forward Propagation to Employee Central. So essentially what this feature does is it allows us to update records that are in the future compared to the record we're publishing back from the compensation worksheets. So in the test case that we're going to do, we're going to insert a record between this one and this one in the comp info portlet. The record is going to be effective August 17th, I believe, and it's going to have a base salary of 32,000 here. And what we're going to see test first is that what does the system do if you don't turn enable forward propagation regarding that record, which is after the record we're going to publish back. So in that case, what the system is going to do is because we don't have enable forward propagation, it's going to set the base salary for this record back to the record from before our publish back. So that's why enable forward propagation is convenient to use is that in case you have records that are in the future, it will update the value of that record with the the value that you're publishing back to Employee Central. So the record we're going to see effective August 17th. If you don't enable forward propagation, it will revert back the base salary to be the one of July 15. Um, if you do, then it will use the base salary that you publish back effective August 17th as the base salary of August 25th. Now, the major hurdle of the enable forward propagation is that it doesn't work if the future dated record, so the records that are after the one you're publishing back from comp worksheets to Employee Central, if they also have a change on the base salary. So for example, if there was an off-cycle promotion, it will not work. It will not update the base salary of August 25th with the base salary from August 17th or any sort of adjustments. So in the case of, for example, if you run your cycle, your comp review cycle on August 1st, and then you wait until September 30th to do the publish back, and in the meantime, there were some changes off cycle that were made to someone's compensation worksheet, you can't have the forward propagation feature make any automatic updates to future dated records or records in the past to readjust based on what was entered in EC as an off cycle. So for those cases, you will have to run reports and manually adjust, unfortunately. The idea being that the publish back feature of compensation is really meant to be something that is done right after the forms are completed, so maybe a couple weeks later. And yeah, if you have if you keep Employee Central open for off-cycle increases during the comp cycle, then you're going to run into these issues, and you'll have to correct them manually with reports and uploads to comp information. That's a question I often get, and unfortunately, there's no way to automate these cases when we're running the publish back from comp worksheets. So let's do some testing here. So first, let's do the test that I described in the beginning where we don't have an update to the base salary. So we're going to do two test cases. What happens if we have a future dated record of August 25th that does not have a change to the base salary, and we don't have forward propagation turned on. So let's do that one. We are going to insert a record here effective August 17th, and we don't have forward propagation turned on. What is going to happen? So let's go and do the push to Employee Central from the compensation worksheet here. Okay, so let's make sure the job is completed before we go back to Employee Central to check the record for this test user. Okay, so now it's completed. Yep. So let's go ahead, go back to the comp portlet. And what we can see here is that even though we inserted this record automatically from the comp cycle, from the comp worksheets as part of the automated publish back, the record that was in the future has been reset to the value of before our publish back. And that is happening because we don't have enable forward propagation turned on. So what happens now if we have enable forward propagation? So we're going to check that box and see how the system behaves. But before, we're going to delete this because we're going to do it again. And we're also going to, no, that's all good. The system corrected. Yep. So we're in the same situation than before. Now let's turn on forward propagation and do the test case again. Okay, completed. So let's go and see our test user. So here what we can see is there is no change, unlike the previous test case, there's no change on the base salary. And that's exactly what forward propagation does. If there is no change in the future dated records of comp info on the base salary, it will use the base salary that you're publishing back to comp info as the base salary for this record, unlike the previous test case where it was reverting back to the July 15th salary. So here we can see when you click here, we have 32,000 as a base salary for this employee. And here we can see on the data change that we have also 32,000. So this is it's a great feature to have in case you have records in the future that are not already touching the base salary. And as we mentioned, if for example I have and we can test it actually. If we have on August 15 a base salary change, then we'll see that forward propagation will not do anything to it. And we're going to test that as a last test case to wrap up. So here we deleted it. We are also going to change the base salary here. We're going to put it to, let's say, what would be a good test case? We would want, if the person had an off-cycle increase valid August 25th of 34,000. Um, no, that doesn't make sense. Let's do 29,000, which is a little more than, yeah, 29,000. So 29,000 effective August 25th, and we're going to insert here the same record, August 17th, with a value of 32,000, and we'll see that this record will not be touched, even though we have enabled forward propagation turned on. Because in that case, if the field already has a different value, forward propagation does not work to preserve the value saved on that record. So in those cases, the only way to fix these cases is to run reports and fix the data manually. And so here, let's go ahead and do our publish back. So here we can see we do have now a new the new record coming from the comp worksheets, but we can see that the 29,000 did not get updated. So I think that concludes the explanation of what forward propagation does. Um, we often get questions on during implementations whether there is a way to automatically update future dated record, if there's a delta between what gets published back to comp info from the comp worksheets and the future dated record, if there's a way to calculate the difference and apply the difference to the future dated record. No, unfortunately, there's no way, and I don't believe there would be a way with even with a business rule to build that. I think maybe with a very complex business rule we could achieve that, but I wouldn't go down that path. It would make the system more complicated. I would recommend adjusting the functional process and the timing and making sure that no off-cycle increase can be added to employees during the few weeks of the compensation cycle, rather than building these business rules which make the whole system more complex. Thank you for listening. Hope this was helpful. Bye bye.